Hi, everybody. So you may be wondering, hey, Highlander, what are you up to today? And obviously, I'm making a video because I was tagged, so that's number one. But also, I had some time to kill, and why? Because this is my day off work, and normally I'm playing games, but I can't. Well, I can, but I'm stuck doing this. I'm stuck installing Gran Turismo 6 for the PS3. It doesn't install. I started this install last night, and it is now Friday in the afternoon, and I started Thursday night, and it's still going. And I figured out that something is wrong. Actually, it tries to install 21 patches all at once, but it can't. So, and I've now read how to fix that. I have to do the first 6 in one go, and then each additional patch I have to download, disable internet, run the patch, start the game, stop the game, enable internet, rinse and repeat until I've got all 21 done. So it's kind of fitting because this tag video was about showing your worst 5 games in your collection. Now, if installation aggravation is a factor in determining the fact whether or not a game is good or bad, then this is definitely a bad game. Of course, I didn't pay full price for this, but if you did, imagine if you did after the release, then you would have had a problem because it wouldn't have worked. And then you see the very casual way that Sony support personnel explain how to do the workaround, but there's no fix. Yeah, it's hardware dependent and all that. So that's taking my time. But installation, ease of installation, it may be part of the quality of a game, but I picked different games. Now, this tag was a problem for me. If I had been asked this a couple of months ago, it would have been easier, but in that meantime, I sold many of my games, and of course I didn't sell the best games that I own. I sold the worst ones. So I had to go through it really took me a long time to pick and choose, but I'm going to show some games that you may say, hey, that's not a bad game. Nope, but there's a reason why. And the prime reason for me why a game is bad is controls. If controls are bad in a game, it frustrates me, because it'll be a game where I know what I have to do, and I'm just unable to do it because the controls don't allow me to. Now, it's not like Shovel Knight or Castle in the Darkness, which are really platforming games where the platforming is hard. The controls can be really on point, but it can be hard to achieve what you want to achieve. But bad controls, like tank controls in the wrong places, or camera controls that are just impossible to work with, that is bad. Well, so I mean, on some of the games, I have to sort of stretch a little to explain, because I basically means I don't have that many bad games. That's good, isn't it? Now, I could have picked Friday the 13th, or I could have picked The Evil Dead on Commodore 64. I just played them, and they are horrible games. The Evil Dead is very hard to control. You want to move your character in a certain way, and it doesn't work. Evil Dead is better in controls, but it's just such a lousy game. I just don't know whether I have to kill everyone or just some random one. I don't know. But those are not on my list because they are games I cannot hold up. I'll do them in order of appearance. The first one is Jack Attack on Commodore 64. This is a reference to... It was made by Commodore very early on. It was made by Commodore engineers. And it references Jack Tramiel, the founder and owner then of the Commodore company. And he used to have these... The Jack Attack was something that was very real in the office. I mean, Commodore wasn't a very well-organized company. And what could happen as an engineer is that at some point you were doing what you were told to do by your manager, and then all of a sudden Jack would rush in, Jack, owner, CEO, and would tell you something that was completely against what you had been told to do, and he said, well, just do this, do it that way. And then he'd rush out, and if you didn't listen to him, you'd be out of a job. So that was a Jack Attack, and they made a game out of it. Now the game isn't necessarily bad in controls, but it's totally unclear what you have to do. They're like balls with faces hanging in the air, and they fall down and they bounce. And if they jump on your head, you die, and if you jump on their heads, then they die, which is clear enough. But then there's a stack of blocks, which you are able to move, but as soon as you move them, the one it falls on your head and you die. It's just completely... I made it to level 2, and then you get different assignments, something with tone and platform, and I just didn't get it, if I'm probably going to get like the only Jack Attack expert in the world leaving a comment saying you're supposed to do this, read the manual, blah blah blah. I had to pick something, and this was my choice. Next. Oh, this was on the Commodore, of course, which is for the ZX Spectrum. I pick Arcadia by Imagine. Don't play this game. This is an impossible game. Impossible. Some blurb about blah blah blah. It's a space shooter, and stuff comes down, and you have to shoot it, but it's it's just impossible. And I'm playing it with a joystick. Even it's too fast. You get shot. It's hard. Everything is too fast. Your ship is not faster than the enemies and the bullets, and this is just crap. This is even for an early game, which I don't even know if it is. It's not. It's 83, so it's quite early. Even for an early game, there are early games that are better than this. Arcadia, don't play it. Oh, okay. My installation is complete here. That's good. It says okay, but I can't press okay. Okay. Now the next one on the PS1 is Galaga Destination Earth. I'm a big Galaga fan. And I thought, I saw this on Richard Turner's channel, and I thought, ooh, that's a game that any Galaga aficionado should have. I've been playing Galaga on the cabinet again, stinking at it, by the way. But this game, I've held this up a short while ago. The thing is that I found this impossible to control. The first level is okay because you're in like the standard mode where your ship is at the bottom and the enemies are at the top and they come down, and that's what I want and like about Galaga, and I recognize. But then the perspective changes and you fly away from the player. So as a player, you're behind your ship, which means you block your own view oftentimes. It's very, very difficult to aim. And that always gets my goat. If I can't aim, then I'm lost, because things start shooting at me, and I want to fight back. I know where the enemy is. I can see him. I just can't shoot him because I can't aim. And if I were there in real life, I know that I would, but I can't. So this game is one of my worst games, and I won't play it again, I think. Then, on the PS3, I've got Haze. Now, this is a weird game because it was hyped very much, and if you've lived through a hype situation, then you know how that can be. When it finally comes out and it doesn't live up to the expectations, it can be really, it can get a lot of flack, a game like this. And this got that, and everyone, all the reviewers are very negative about it. And then I find a review from Mark Busler from Classic Game Room, who says, well, it's actually not that bad. And I see his gameplay and I hear his reasoning and I think, well, why is everyone so negative about it? But then Mark has once said, well, all my reviews are positive, which is right. And then in part 2 of his review, he says, well, I got a lot of emails from people saying that it's a really bad game, actually. And, well, I don't listen to that. And then he goes on trashing the game because it's really bad, because there's a glitch in it. So this is weird. I'm not a big first-person shooter fan, but this is sort of halfway on its way to being good. There are some errors in it which are game-breaking, which is never good. And game-breaking bugs, especially when you're progressed in the game, that's really frustrating. And but the controls in this game weren't bad. So control-wise, good. Reputation-wise, bad. This is one of the worst games that I have if you go by the reviews online. Then, and this may be obvious, but it's not. But I'm holding up No Man's Sky. Touchy, but another one of those hype games. I actually like the game and I play it, no problem, but I do avoid the Sentinels. Why? Because, well, the field of view on the PS4 version is really tiny. It's very difficult to look around you to have a sense of what is to see in the world. And then when those Sentinels show up, 3-4 at a time, there's like little red arrows saying, "Oh, you're being shot from here, shot from there." And if you use the stupid sticks to turn around, and the whole world is spinning, and you think, "Where the hell are they?" Because they're flying all around you, looking down, shooting at you. And then when you finally have one in view, which your view is really tiny, you have to aim at him. And then there we go again. There's no auto aim or anything, so you're shooting your bolt caster, and all the bullets go flying over. And then a couple hit, and then maybe you win. But usually I die in those battles, so I avoid them. When I get to a manufacturing facility and I have to shoot like a metal door, I avoid it. I think, forget it. There's not going to be anything of value in there, or something that I can't find elsewhere. So control-wise, have you tried a space battle in this game? I mean, I'm used to Elite. Elite is sharp as a tack when it comes to ship control. This is crazy. You pull the stick and it takes a while for the ship to turn, and there it goes. And then you have to aim at someone and you have to follow someone. And I know space battles by now. This is impossible. So whenever I get like the little alert that says, "Ooh, hostile ships," I'm out of there because I can't find in this. So in that sense, this could be helped with better controls, definitely. And that's 5, and that's my tag done. And I haven't looked in who's been tagged and who hasn't been tagged. And I'm gonna think of someone on the spot now, someone who has a lot of games. and has a good chance of having bad ones, I think I'm gonna go for a safe choice, and I'm gonna pick Lactobacillus. Mark, you have a lot of games. You're bound to have a lot of bad ones. So if you like, do a response. Again, I was tagged by Nick Berry. And he tagged one, and I tag one, and then the tagging is done.